Amelia scoffed at the devout, those who clung to their faith as if it were a lifeline, those who knelt, who prayed, who thanked a higher power for every little thing in their lives. To her it was all nonsense, a crutch for the weak-minded. Her life was her own, forged by her own two hands, built brick by brick through sheer determination. She needed no deity to guide her, no divine intervention to pave her way. Amelia was a woman of science, of logic, grounded in the tangible and the provable. Rain fell because of atmospheric pressure, not because someone up high willed it. It was simple meteorology. Success came from hard work, not blessings. It was the result of countless late nights and relentless effort. Her life was a testament to her own efforts, not divine intervention. Every accolade, every achievement was earned. She'd built a comfortable life, a successful career, a cozy apartment overlooking the city, all on her own terms. It was everything she'd ever wanted, achieved through her own blood, sweat and tears. No God required, just her own grit. One evening, sipping her Merlot while the city lights twinkled below, she chuckled to herself, feeling a sense of triumph. God, she muttered, swirling the crimson liquid in her glass. What a funny concept, to think people believed in such things. Her disdain for the divine was woven into the fabric of her everyday life. Stuck in traffic? Must be God's way of testing my patience, she'd sneer, drumming her fingers impatiently on the steering wheel. Spilled coffee on her crisp white shirt. Thanks a lot, God, she'd mutter sarcastically, dabbing at the stain. Her cynicism was a shield, protecting her from the unknown, from the vulnerability of faith. It was easier to dismiss the possibility of a higher power than to open herself up to the uncertainty it brought. She navigated her days with a pragmatic, almost ruthless efficiency. Work, gym, dinner, repeat. There was no room for spirituality in her meticulously planned schedule. One weekend, Amelia's friend Sarah, a devout Christian, convinced her to go on a hiking trip. "Redemption Trail," Sarah had chirped, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. "They say it's life-changing." Amelia rolled her eyes. "Life-changing hike? Please." But she owed Sarah a favor, so she reluctantly agreed. The trail was more challenging than Amelia had anticipated. Steep inclines, rocky terrain, her breath coming in ragged gasps. "A little help here, God?" she wheezed, her voice heavy with sarcasm. The higher she climbed, the denser the forest became. Sunlight struggled to penetrate the thick canopy of leaves, casting long, eerie shadows on the forest floor. Hours later, Amelia realized with a growing sense of panic that she had veered off the main path. The trail markers were gone and she was utterly alone. Darkness began to creep in, casting a chilling blanket over the woods. Fear, cold and sharp, clawed its way into her chest. She was lost, the dense foliage a labyrinth with no apparent exit. The silence was broken only by the frantic beating of her own heart. "Okay, God," she whispered, her voice trembling. "If you're there, now would be a good time to show yourself." It was the first genuine prayer she had ever uttered, devoid of mockery, filled with raw, unfiltered fear. The forest seemed to hold its breath, the only response, the rustling of leaves in the wind. Section 5, A Voice in the Wilderness. Nightfall brought a bone-chilling cold. Amelia huddled beneath a towering oak tree, her teeth chattering uncontrollably. Tears streamed down her face, a mixture of fear and exhaustion. Suddenly, a warm, comforting voice sliced through the darkness. "Hello? Is anyone out there?" Amelia scrambled to her feet, her heart pounding in her chest. "Help!" she cried, her voice hoarse. "I'm here! I'm lost!" A moment later, the beam of a flashlight cut through the darkness, illuminating the worried face of an elderly man. He was bundled in a heavy coat, a walking stick clutched in his hand. Section 6, Help from Above. "You're miles off the trail, dear," the old man said, his voice gruff but kind. His eyes, though stern, held a glimmer of concern. "What on earth were you doing all the way out here?" Amelia, too exhausted to explain, simply burst into tears. Her sobs echoed through the silent woods, a stark contrast to the serene surroundings. The old man, his name was Samuel, she soon learned, led her back through the darkened forest to his small cabin nestled at the foot of the mountain. The journey was long, and the forest seemed to close in around them, but Samuel's presence was reassuring. He built a roaring fire, offering her warm soup and a place to rest. The cabin was modest but cozy, filled with the scent of pine and the crackling of the fire. As she sipped the broth, the warmth spreading through her cold limbs, she felt a profound sense of gratitude wash over her. The soup was simple, yet it tasted like the best meal she had ever had. Samuel, she learned, was a retired park ranger. His knowledge of the forest was vast, and his stories of the wilderness were both fascinating and comforting. He spent his days tending to his garden, reading his Bible and keeping an eye out for lost hikers. His garden was a testament to his care, with rows of vegetables and blooming flowers. He was a man of simple faith, his weathered face etched with a lifetime of quiet devotion. His serene expression spoke of a life lived in harmony with nature, and his presence was a beacon of hope for those who found themselves lost. Section 7. Finding her way back. The next morning, Samuel led Amelia back to the main trail, the rising sun casting long shadows through the trees. As they reached familiar ground, relief flooded through her. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice thick with emotion. "I don't know what I would have done." Samuel smiled, his eyes crinkling at the corners. "Sometimes," he said, his voice raspy with age, "we just need a little help finding our way back." As Amelia made her way down the mountain, her legs shaky but her spirit buoyed, she couldn't shake the feeling that Samuel's words held a deeper meaning. Section 8. The encounter that changed everything. The experience on the mountain cracked open something in Amelia's heart, something she didn't know was sealed shut. The encounter with Samuel, his quiet faith, the inexplicable feeling that she had been guided, protected, it all chipped away at her carefully constructed wall of cynicism. She began to see the world through different eyes. The sunrise, no longer just a meteorological phenomenon, became a breathtaking display of color and light. The rain, no longer an inconvenience, became a life-giving force nourishing the earth. She found herself drawn to churches, to the sound of hymns, to the quiet reverence of prayer. She started attending services with Sarah, her skepticism slowly giving way to a cautious curiosity. Section 9. Embracing Faith. One Sunday, during a particularly moving sermon about forgiveness and redemption, Amelia felt hot tears stinging her eyes. The words resonated deep within her soul, a truth she couldn't ignore. That day, in the quiet solitude of her apartment, Amelia knelt down for the first time in her life and prayed. She didn't ask for anything, didn't beg for forgiveness. She simply expressed her gratitude for being found, for the second chance, for the realization that there was something bigger than herself. Her prayer was met with an overwhelming sense of peace, a lightness she had never known before. It was the beginning of her journey of faith, a journey that was just beginning. Section 10. Life after the mountain. Life after the mountain was different. It was a new chapter, a fresh beginning, yet it carried the weight of the journey that had come before. Not easier, not without its challenges, but each obstacle now seemed like a stepping stone rather than a barrier, but infused with a sense of purpose, of hope, a renewed vigor that came from knowing she had conquered the mountain, of knowing that she was not alone. Her journey had connected her with others, creating bonds that were unbreakable. Amelia still relied on her own strength, her own determination, pushing herself to new limits. But now it was tempered with a quiet humility, a deep sense of gratitude for the lessons learned, an understanding that there were forces at work beyond her comprehension. She found solace in the mysteries of life, embracing the unknown. She embraced her newfound faith with the same passion and dedication she had once reserved for her work, finding a new kind of fulfillment. Her skepticism replaced with a quiet certainty that there was more to life than what she could see and touch. She felt a deeper connection to the world around her. She had laughed at God, had challenged his existence, questioning everything she had been taught. And in return, he had saved her, offering her a lifeline when she needed it most, gently guiding her back from the brink of despair. It was a journey of redemption, of finding light in the darkest of times, and for that she was eternally grateful. Her heart was filled with a profound sense of peace and thankfulness, knowing she had been given a second chance. Pause 3 is Section 11, The Path to Redemption. Amelia's journey beyond the mountain was not just about conquering external challenges, it was an inward odyssey. Each day presented its own set of trials, testing her newfound faith and resilience. The world had not changed, but Amelia had. She faced the remnants of her past life, the career she had once been consumed by, the relationship she had let languish, and the inner demons that still whispered doubts. But now, she approached them with a different mindset. She saw her career not as a race to the top, but as an opportunity to make a meaningful impact. She rekindled old friendships, reaching out with genuine intention, and built new ones grounded in mutual respect and understanding. Amelia's struggle was real. There were days when the weight of her responsibilities seemed too heavy to bear, days when her faith wavered and the darkness threatened to pull her back into the abyss. But each time she found strength in the quiet moments of reflection, in the supportive words of those she had come to trust, and in the simple yet profound act of prayer. Her ultimate redemption came not in a single triumphant moment, but in the accumulation of small victories. It was in the decision to forgive herself for past mistakes, in the courage to take risks and embrace uncertainty, and in the unwavering belief that she was on the right path, even when the way forward was shrouded in fog. Amelia's story was one of transformation. She had been broken, lost, and alone, but she had emerged stronger, more compassionate, and deeply connected to the world around her. Her journey was far from over, but she walked it with a sense of purpose and gratitude, knowing that every step was a testament to the power of faith, resilience, and love. As she looked back on the mountain, now a distant silhouette on the horizon, she understood that it was not just a physical place, but a symbol of the challenges she had overcome and the strength she had discovered within herself. It was a reminder that no matter how daunting the journey, redemption was always within reach for those who dared to believe. Amelia's heart was filled with a profound sense of peace and thankfulness, knowing she had been given a second chance. And with each new day, she embraced her journey with open arms, ready to face whatever came her way, guided by the light she had found in the darkest of times. Pause 2S. The path to redemption was not easy, but it was worth every step. Chapter 12. Legacy of Light. Pause 3S. In the years that followed, Amelia's journey took on a new dimension. Her experiences had not only transformed her life, but also inspired those around her. She became a beacon of hope, a living testament to the power of faith, resilience, and love. Amelia decided to share her story not through grandiose speeches or public appearances, but through quiet, meaningful interactions. She volunteered at local shelters, offering a listening ear and a comforting presence to those who felt lost and alone. She mentored young people, guiding them through their own struggles with the wisdom she had gained from her journey. One day she received a letter from a young woman named Emily. Emily wrote about her own battles with self-doubt and the feeling of being trapped in a life that didn't reflect her true self. She had heard about Amelia's story through a mutual friend and felt a spark of hope for the first time in years. Amelia invited Emily to meet her at a small cafe by the river, a place that had become a sanctuary for her. As they sat together, sipping warm tea and watching the water flow by, Amelia listened intently to Emily's story. She saw in Emily the same fears and uncertainties she had once faced, and she knew that her role was not to provide all the answers, but to offer support and encouragement. Pause 2S. Emily, Amelia said softly, your journey is your own, and it will be filled with challenges. But remember, every step you take, no matter how small, is a step towards discovering your true self. Believe in your strength, and don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it. Emily's eyes filled with tears, not of sadness but of relief and gratitude. She had found in Amelia a kindred spirit, someone who understood her pain and who believed in her potential. Pause 2S. As the months passed, Amelia and Emily's friendship blossomed. They hiked together, sharing stories and dreams, and found solace in each other's company. Amelia watched with pride as Emily began to find her own path, taking brave steps towards a life that resonated with her heart. Amelia's influence extended beyond Emily. She started a small community group, bringing together people from all walks of life to share their stories and support one another. The group became a source of strength and inspiration, a reminder that no one had to face their struggles alone. Pause 2S. One evening, as the group gathered around a bonfire, Amelia shared a thought that had been on her mind. "We all have the power to create a legacy of light," she said, her voice steady and warm. "It's not about grand gestures or monumental achievements. It's about the small acts of kindness, the moments of understanding, and the courage to be vulnerable. Each of us can be a light in the darkness for someone else." The group sat in reflective silence, the crackling fire casting a warm glow on their faces. They understood that Amelia's journey was not just about her own redemption, but about the ripple effect of her actions and the lives she touched. Pause 2S. Amelia's story continued to unfold, marked by new challenges and triumphs. She faced setbacks and moments of doubt, but she never lost sight of the light she had found within herself. And in sharing that light with others, she created a legacy that would endure long after her own journey came to an end. Pause 2S. As she stood on a hill overlooking the valley, the sun setting in a blaze of colour, Amelia felt a profound sense of peace. She had come full circle, from the depths of despair to a life filled with purpose and connection. And she knew that her story was far from over. It was a story of hope, transformation, and the enduring power of the human spirit. Pause 3S. Amelia closed her eyes, letting the cool breeze wash over her, and whispered a silent prayer of gratitude. She was ready for whatever came next, guided by the legacy of light she had created and the unwavering belief that every journey, no matter how difficult, held the promise of redemption. Pause 3S. The journey continued.